Hey folks, David Stewart here. Let's talk about Technowealth, how we're all wealthy due to technology. Part of technology is that you can, on Kickstarter, on a website, on the World Wide Web, you can pre-order this book. You can get a limited edition hardback signed by me or not signed by me, or just buy the ebook. An ebook, you don't even have to have access to a printing press. You can get an electronic book down below in the description box. Technowealth. What is Technowealth? Technowealth is basically the democratization of wealthy-like experiences due to technology and the advancement of the free market. It's absolutely amazing. We don't give thanks enough for the wealth that we've been given, which is incredible, unprecedented throughout history, and really extends from the loftiest people, Donald Trump and Elon Musk, all the way down to the poorest people. There's far less of a gap between the richest and the poorest than people realize when they stop and take stock of what they are just given and what is so cheap to acquire these days. Things that were unbelievable in the past. Kings couldn't have what we have today. Kings lived worse than poor people today did. That's amazing to think about. And it's due to the free market and technology enhanced by the free market, and all of these forces coordinating, people who may hate each other coordinating because the price system incentivizes them to coordinate, to make their product and sell it to someone else to trade. It's actually pretty amazing. Just to give you some perspective, let's imagine we're the King of France. Does the King of France have a radically different lifestyle than we have today? The answer is no. Right? The King of France did not have, imagine the King of France in 16-something, 17th century. Did he have running water? No. But he didn't need running water because he had running servants. The servants ran when the water wouldn't. He didn't need to turn on a faucet and get water. A servant would bring him water. He did not need to flush the toilet. The servant would take the chamber pot away and dispose of the king's waste. Okay. We do not take plumbing. We're not thankful enough for plumbing. Indoor plumbing is amazing. Even there's public toilets for even people who don't even have a house can have access to indoor plumbing. You can go to the public toilet and you turn on the faucet and water just comes out to clean yourself. Just water to clean yourself. Infinite amounts of water. It's amazing. The king didn't need that because he had servants. He had enough money to hire oodles of people to do that kind of thing for him. Whereas now you can live in the projects and have a toilet that flushes and have faucets with running water, clean running water that you could drink, that you could wash your hands with, and you don't have to worry about where your waste goes. That's actually really amazing. You can flip a switch in the projects and the light comes on most of the time. And this is where we draw the line with like poverty here in the West, is like the people in the government projects, which basically as poor as you can get without being homeless in America. For those of you maybe who are watching from abroad, it's government housing. There's a joke about you have one light bulb and you bring it to each room, right? It's like the cutoff for poverty is like you can't just buy more light bulbs. You don't have the money to buy light bulbs, or you take your light bulbs off the porch at night. Okay, so because they'll get stolen. Someone will come by and be like, this guy has light bulbs. I'm going to get me that light bulb because I only have 2 light bulbs that work in my apartment. So grab that light bulb. So you take the light bulbs off the porch when you're done hanging out at the porch at night, take them inside and screw them into your bathroom light so you can brush your teeth. That's like real poverty. But while you're carrying that light bulb from each room, what did the person in the past do? He had to carry a candle to each room, and the light bulb was better than the candle. Okay. So the King of France didn't need light bulbs. He had candles. He could buy as many candles and lamps as he wanted with as much whale oil as he wanted to see whatever he wanted to at night, but it still wasn't as good as a light bulb, right? So the poor person in the projects that has one light bulb is still experiencing something that the King of France didn't even have. And the poor people in the ghetto, and most of the time, you still have a TV, right? TVs are not expensive. You can get them cheap. You can get them used, right? They have a TV. May not be a great TV. I may have a better TV. Someone else has a better TV, but they have a TV, and that's cool. Did the King of France need TVs? The answer is no. Why? He owned the theater. He could go to the theater and watch the play at his own theater, or he could easily afford tickets to whatever opera or play he wanted to go see. Okay. He didn't need a TV. He could hire musicians and actors and jugglers to come entertain him whenever he wanted to. He could sit and have lunch with some friends and have a chamber orchestra play him beautiful music played by professional musicians. So beautiful, so wonderful. And now you can tell Alexa to turn on Bach, and it'll play the best musicians in the world doing their best performance of Bach for you. And you're not the king of France, and you aren't even paying very much money for that, right? So almost anyone can have access to the same level of life that the king of France had. He had musicians on demand. He had access to great plays. You can watch great plays on YouTube for free. You can watch Orpheus, a really good production of Orpheus, on YouTube for free. Like, why aren't you doing that? Oh, where's the high culture? People, you have access to high culture. If you're not choosing to watch it, I can't help you, right? You can watch the same stuff the King of France watched and enjoy it, and watch things that he never had access to because there are, only so many operas playing per year. He couldn't just travel to Florence or whatever and see a new opera. Actually, he could, but it would take him a long time to travel there. So now you have a bunch of things that the King of France never had access to. Yeah, basically you get the same thing with plumbing that he got with servants, but he couldn't just go to another city today. You could just drive to another city today if you want to, or you could take the train. You're out drunken in the middle of Austin or whatever. Better get yourself an Uber. You pull out your magic telepathy device and you order a chauffeur for a couple of dollars to take you to your hotel room or take you home. Yeah. King of France had a chauffeur. He had a guy driving his carriage around for him wherever he wanted to go. Yeah, you have that too. And you don't even have to pay him anything. You don't have to keep him on salary. You don't have to provide a house for him. You don't have to provide for the horses. You don't have to pay a stable boy to shovel their crap. You don't have to do any of that. You just hire an Uber when you want to. So the technology that we've developed over the years has helped the common man so much more than the rich person. The life of the common man is what's been massively improved. You might say, well, the King of France is surrounded by gilded walls. It's like, does gilded walls make for a better, more pleasurable life? Not to a great degree, but chances are if you're upper middle class, you could get gold wallpaper if you want. You could design your room to look like an 18th century parlor if you really wanted to. Most of your houses are bigger than peasant houses of yore. They're bigger than apartments of yore. They're better insulated. You have air conditioning. So you have all these things that the King of France could never have. He doesn't have air conditioning. You can't turn on the air conditioning when it's hot, and you can. How cool is that? He couldn't travel to another city in a car when he wanted to. He couldn't fly across the world in a couple hours, which you can do if you want to. Even people of modest means can occasionally buy a plane ticket and travel somewhere. That's pretty darn awesome. It's pretty amazing what technology has delivered to us in that regard. And we have our personal telepathy devices. These are amazing, and the king could never have something so cool in his life. It allows us to access the entertainment that he had, but allows us to do so much more. It allows us to see and talk to people far across the world from us. You okay there, bud? Okay, come here. I heard that little thump. All right. It allows you to do things that you never could have imagined, that we never could have imagined doing in the past. So if you live even of modest means, you live like a better life than the King of France. But it gets crazier, right? Is that imagine the richest person in the world now. It's like, how significantly different is your lifestyle from Elon Musk? People who watch things like Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous, they might think it's going to be significantly different. But when you stop and think about it, it's not that much, right? It's like, yeah, Elon Musk can buy a Ferrari or whatever, but you could rent a Ferrari and you could rent it on a track where you could actually drive it fast. So you can rent that experience without having to buy the Ferrari, worry about someone stealing it, pay for upkeep, right? What does Elon Musk drive? I think he drives a Tesla, right? So for 99% of what you're doing, you look kind of spooky there, bud. For 99% of what you're doing, the Tesla is the best car. Commuting to work and back, and then you plug it in, right? Do you need a Ferrari? You don't really need that, right? For most of what you're doing, that's plenty luxurious, and someone of upper middle class means, let's say, can afford something like that. So if you're doing okay, if you're the equivalent of like a good merchant class person, you basically can have a really at least access to the same kind of lifestyle as a rich person. You can't own a yacht, but you can rent a cabin on a cruise ship. And the cruise ship is probably more fun because it's full of people and entertainment and all kinds of things that you probably wouldn't have on a private yacht. Private yacht is cool, don't get me wrong, but then you're worrying about the private yacht. You're worried about maintaining the private yacht. You're worried about where the private yacht is and where you're going to use it and whether you're going to maximize the value of the private yacht. Same thing with a vacation home. Do you need a vacation home? No, you can rent a hotel. You can rent an Airbnb. Hey, bud. Okay. You can be in this video. You're a little itchy today, huh? Little old dude. Come here. Yeah, come on. Yes, I have a great old cat. He's like 20 years old. Here he is. Okay, come here, bud. That's a good cat. I woke you from your nap by talking. I'm so sorry. Anyway, yeah, you can do things that are incredible. You can rent an Airbnb. Rent the Airbnb. You don't need the vacation home on the beach. You can just rent it when you want to go there. And next time you can rent a vacation home somewhere else. It's like timeshare, but even like more microtized so that you really can access a lot of things that are reserved usually only for the wealthy. It's pretty amazing, right? Yeah, you don't have a private jet, but you can rent a ticket. You can buy a ticket to go almost anywhere, almost any time. So there's very little difference in terms of your capacity to go places for far less money versus someone who's rich. Yes, private jets are different, and that's cool, and it's a different experience. But ultimately, you're really getting access to the same sort of thing, which is to go to a location. If you wanted to fly to Rome, you can fly to Rome. You can put your money together and fly to Rome. You can fly to Rome in a private jet. Yeah, that's cool. Or you can buy a first-class ticket. You can buy a lot of first-class tickets for the cost of a private jet. So the truth is that the common man is the one who's benefited the most from the increases in technology, to the point where, rich people can live a different lifestyle than you and me, but it's not profoundly different the way it was like for the King of France, where you have the King of France and you have somebody that's like, will never live anything like him, will never experience the things he's experienced, never gets to who just eats the crumbs of his cake. And that's like a delightful experience compared to what they normally do get to have in their life. That difference in wealth, even when you have a tremendous difference in wealth, the difference in the actual outcomes is so much less because of how technology has made those things equal. Think about how, the King of France could have food on demand whenever he wanted it to. So can you. You can DoorDash some food right now, and a servant will bring you hot, fresh food to your door. You can order a pizza. You can do whatever. Not only that, but the servant who brings it to you can afford to do the same thing, and that's huge, right? The workers, Henry Ford's workers, were paid enough to buy a car. They could buy the cars that they were making. So the cars that they were making, this incredible luxury, powerful item that brought them all kinds of mobility, they could afford to do it themselves. It's not the servants who emptied the king's crap could not afford to hire other servants to empty their crap. It just didn't work that way. But now you can just get food on demand, and the person who gets it from DoorDash, they probably have enough money to DoorDash too sometimes. How cool is that? Very cool. Anyway, I'll leave it there. I just wanted to put that in you guys' mind. You can use the power of technology to get access to this book. Think about how kings of yore had no books. A medieval king might have a great collection of like 6 books or 10 books or something like that. Nowadays, you can just have an automated print-on-demand printing press, print you up a copy of King Leopard. This will be a limited edition, and future copies will be very different from this one. Get you that. You can have me mail it to you. I'll sign it. I put it in a package. A guy comes and picks it up, and then he travels across the country and puts it in your mailbox, and you get a copy of King Leopard. That is pretty amazing, considering most people, the only book that they saw in a given week was the Bible at the church, because books were rare and very expensive. Now we all have books, and not only do we have books that are so cheap, we also can just have them electronically on our portable telepathy devices, our phones, or our Kindles, or whatever. Pretty amazing when you think about it. So anyway, leave me your thoughts down below. I'd love to see them. Mr. Simba, the little old kitty. Hopefully you didn't mind him. I'll see you all next time. Have a great one.